Do you remember the Havana syndrome? A mysterious ailment that broke out about 7 years ago in the Cuban capital, Havana. It made American diplomats sick. More than 1,000 cases are said to have been reported. Among the victims were top U.S. military officials and diplomats. And while there were still questions over its origins, the Americans decided to spice up the game. They came up with some good old conspiracy theories. They said the syndrome was deliberately unleashed on them by rivals like the Russians. Almost like some sort of new warfare tactics. And no, this is not some movie plot. Now, as it turns out, the foreign adversary claim does not hold water. Embarrassingly, Washington itself had to do the cleanup. An intelligence report has officially debunked the claim. It says there is no foreign hand in the Havana syndrome. Here's more. The year was 2016. Around 16 people in the U.S. Embassy in Cuba's capital, Havana, suddenly fell ill. All of them reported common symptoms, like headache and nausea. Washington raised alarm bells. It claimed that a foreign adversary's hand could not be ruled out. This outbreak came to be known as the Havana syndrome. 7 years after the initial batch of cases, the U.S. has admitted that there was no foreign hand whatsoever. The Director of National Intelligence said, and I quote, "I can share with you that most intelligence agencies have now concluded that it is very unlikely a foreign adversary responsible for the reported AHI, or Havana syndrome." Since 2016, the Havana syndrome is said to have affected more than 1,000 U.S. diplomats and military officials across the globe. All patients affected reported common symptoms like headache, nausea, vertigo, and memory loss. Many complained of hearing strange sounds like grinding metal, even when there was actually no sound around.
You won't be hearing it, but of course it is going into your system. It's like a acoustic hammer which is hitting you. You're just not able to hear it because its frequency is much higher. So there were some concerns to it.
Subsequently, such cases have been reported among U.S. diplomats and intelligence personnel in Russia, Poland, Serbia, Colombia, France, and Vietnam, to name a few. Washington called them anomalous health incidents, and there was a lot of attention given to this. Take, for instance, Vice President Kamala Harris. She made an infamous visit to Vietnam in 2021. Her trip from Singapore to Vietnam was delayed by several hours. That's after 2 cases of the Havana syndrome were suspected. No details were provided on what exactly happened, but Harris eventually made the trip and spoke about it.
I will tell you that we're looking into it, and I'm not able to share much more at this time, but on your point about embassy staff, I met with them today and then also saw them yesterday during the lease signing ceremony. And I will tell you that the people who work in our embassies, be it here in Mission Vietnam or around the globe, are some of the most courageous and selfless public servants that you can meet. I talked with them extensively about the importance of their work and also a recognition of the sacrifice they make.
The origins aren't clear yet. Guesses of what it could be flew thick and fast. Some called it a mass psychogenic illness. Others dubbed it as a foreign conspiracy. The CIA, in a 2022 report, rubbished all claims. It studied more than 1,000 patients and came to the conclusion that while there was some ambiguity, the syndrome is highly unlikely to be unleashed by rivals like Russia. It even called them some of the toughest cases for the agency.
The findings that the intelligence community has spoken to today in no way call into question the experiences, the symptoms that our colleagues and their family members have reported in recent years.
So was the Havana syndrome real? The patients say it was. Washington agrees that their diplomats suffered strange health conditions. But the fact is, there is no proof of how it happened and who was behind it.